Bethlehem. The Church of the Nativity, built around 330 AD by the first Christian Roman Emperor Constantine, is one of the oldest continuously operating churches in the world, having survived invasions, regime changes, fires, and earthquakes. Many claim that the church is protected by a higher power because it sits above a cave that some Bible scholars believe to be the true birthplace of Jesus Christ.
There are many books about the story of Christ's life, Jesus' life, which never made it their way into the Bible. And one of them was called the Proto-Evangelium of James. And in that story, Joseph and Mary are approaching Bethlehem, and Mary says, I'm going to give birth. And he thinks for a minute, he said, I know a cave near here. And they're met at the entrance to the cave by a brilliant light. And when the light dissipates, there's Mary holding Christ in her arms. And if you look at Byzantine painting, the Nativity is always represented in a cave.
According to the Gospel of Luke, Mary gives birth and places the baby Jesus in a manger, but no actual location for the Nativity is given.
Going back to the 3rd century, they started this idea that he was actually born in a cave. But then they also described the tomb of resurrection as a cave, as a simple hollowed out room that had this circular stone at the entranceway.
There does seem to be a mystical environment here, this idea of a cave being a place where someone who is of divinity comes and someone who is divinity leaves. So it's almost as if passages are happening in caves.
Is there some significance to the fact that both Jesus' birthplace and resurrection may have occurred inside caves? Some ancient astronaut theorists say yes, and claim there may even be physical evidence that what happened within these caves was something other than miraculous.
The Shroud of Turin is certainly the most important relic of the resurrection, this extraordinary imprint of the crucified body on this cloth that no one has ever been able to accurately explain or reproduce.
And Jesus was in the tomb, and some believe there was an intense burst of energy which created what we now call the Shroud of Turin, some form of radiation which was very intense and powerful.
We know with 21st century technology that the Shroud of Turin is a 1st century garment. And we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it could not have been painted or in any way created. So the Shroud of Turin gives us this exceptional piece of evidence that something powerful happened in that tomb.
And when people came to see him the next day to view his body, he was gone. 2 shining beings, non-human beings, met these 2 witnesses outside the tomb and informed them that Christ had risen and that he had departed.
It's possible that that cave was acting as a sort of a gateway or a portal, because in many of these stories, the caves link earth and heaven.
Could the Shroud of Turin really be evidence that something of a technological as well as a spiritual nature took place in the cave where many believe Jesus was resurrected? Reports of humans encountering the divine in or near caves come from all corners of the globe, going back thousands of years.
We look at the Prophet Muhammad at Mount Hira. He's in a mountain in a cave. He's praying and meditating. He hears the voice of Gabriel. Iqra, Iqra, which means to recite, recite. And so he recites the Quran. According to the Hebrew tradition, Prophet Elijah, who existed around 9 BCE, lived in a cave.
According to Greek mythology, Zeus was born in a cave. And caves are often understood in religious traditions to be gateways to the underworld. So caves are worshipped throughout the Mediterranean, usually because a god is associated with that cave. A god is worshipped in a cave or in a grotto.
Is it possible that some of the world's most mysterious caves really are home to extraterrestrial beings? Could it be that the knowledge of the universe has been left for us to discover right here on Earth, once we have the technology to unlock it?